Alright, so check this out, folks. WrestleMania 37, Night 1. I will say it was pretty decent. The stage looked great. The set looked alright. The ring definitely looked awesome. And the crowd did very, very good cheering and booing for their favorite and not so favorite superstars. Now, as far as the matches goes, now, were some of the matches decent? My answer is no. Now, there were 3 matches that were enjoyable to watch. Only 3 matches, as embarrassing as it sounds. Only 3 matches on this pay-per-view were enjoyable to watch, that I enjoyed watching. There was 4 matches on this pay-per-view that I didn't enjoy watching, that I don't think, in my opinion, delivered at all. We got Bianca Belair becoming the new Smackdown Women's Champion. We got AJ Styles and OMOS becoming the Raw Tag Team Champions. We got Bad Bunny and Damian Priest winning their biggest matches of their career. Cesaro winning his biggest match of his career over Seth Rollins. And we got Damian and Natalya winning the Tag Team Turmoil, which I thought was one of the worst decisions that WWE ever made. I don't think they absolutely deserve to win it. I think the Wyatt Squad deserved to win it more than Natalya and Tamina, because they did most of the work. I think they did the most in the ring out of anybody else in that women's tag team turmoil. And plus, Lashley retains his WWE Championship over Drew McIntyre. Oh, folks, this feud's not over yet, I don't think. I think this feud's going to last a very, very long time. And then we got Braun Strowman winning the steel cage match in what was a fucking terrible, terrible cage match. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go over everything that went down on this pay-per-view, WrestleMania 37 Night 1. And we are going to talk about it. You know how I break it down on the channel, so. Anyways, never mind that. We're going to go over it all right here on my IWN Wrestling News and Gaming YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is IWN's very own Brennan here live with your WrestleMania 37 Night 1 review. Before we get to it, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell for notifications so you won't miss all of my Raw, Smackdown, NXT, NXT UK, and AEW Dynamite reviews that go live each and every week on the channel. And so you won't also miss my wrestling and gaming content. And so you also won't miss my games that I stream on every week. Also, follow me on Twitter at Ingram Wrestling. That's where all my reviews are at. That's where I normally retweet and tweet out news that I see, that I respond to, and you know the rest. And also follow me on Twitch at Ingram Wrestling News. I still haven't seen people have yet to follow me on Twitch yet for some reason. I don't know why, but I hope you all enjoyed WrestleMania 37 Night 1 last night. I did. I tried to enjoy it the best way I can. I didn't really enjoy it much. Now, there's 3 matches on the show I did enjoy, but anyways, folks, we're going to go ahead and get to the review. WrestleMania, let me remind y'all that WrestleMania 37 Night 2 will be coming on tonight. So I will be live for my WrestleMania 32 Night 2. Again, hold on. I will be live for my WrestleMania 37 Night 2 watch along tonight. So be sure you all come on in and join the live chat and hang out with me, man. We're going to have a great time. And I have a feeling that Night 2 is going to be better than Night 1 when this is all said and done. In my opinion, I think Night 2 is going to be better than Night 1. I mean, look at all the matches they got. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Paul Cruz versus Big E. One of the best feuds on Smackdown currently. This is Sheamus. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Damian Bryan. How can anybody not say that WrestleMania 37 Night 2 is going to be better than WrestleMania 37 Night 1? If you don't think WrestleMania 37 Night 2 is going to be better than WrestleMania 37 Night 1, you're a complete fucking idiot. Alright? Just throwing it out there. Simple as that. You are a complete buffoon if you don't think WrestleMania 37 Night 2 is going to be a lot better than WrestleMania 37 Night 1. I think WrestleMania 37 Night 2 is going to win over WrestleMania 37 Night 1. It's the way to go about it. It's the way I think. Anyway, I don't know about everybody else in the community. You know how some of these geeks are in the community, some of these mercs. Anyways, we're going to get started with the review here. Now, as I was reading last night before I got cut off by a fucking error and a connection that seemingly got lost last night. I was just starting with the review last night and the connection got lost. I got an error. That really pissed me off. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go live for the WrestleMania 37 Night 1 review this afternoon. And here I am, folks. So, anyways, the kickoff show, the WrestleMania kickoff show, was hosted by Kayla Braxton. And she's joined by Booker T, Jerry Lawler, JBL, and Peter Rosenberg. I don't think anybody cares about Peter Rosenberg at this point. The fans in attendance chant for JBL, and he encourages it. So the panel jokes around, some before running down the card for WrestleMania 37 Night 1, which started with Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. So we got a video package for Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. They point out that Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks will become the first 2 women to main event a WrestleMania in a singles match. JBL says, just like Ron Simmons, when he won the title, this has nothing to do with race or gender. These women have earned it. Rosenberg says, and he's absolutely right. Rosenberg says, there is immense pressure on both women for different reasons, and they say this match will prove who is the best of the best. The panel discusses New Day versus AJ Styles and OMOS, and Booker T jokingly says New Day are not great, they're just lucky. Lawler says he's excited to see OMOS debut and thinks he'll live up to the hype. Kayla says the bigger they are, the harder they fall, and the King corrects her. The harder they hit. Booker T likens OMOS to Francis. I don't know who the heck that is. I'm assuming that's a name from UFC. And how he's a great who doesn't have all the ability, but still Rosenberg to the top. JBL says Francis didn't have to do it as part of a team. A video package airs of the feud between Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, The Miz, and John Morrison, which that feud was fucking awful. That feud was fucking awful. It really was. Booker T says Bunny took the guitar shot to the back, and he got back up, which says a lot about him putting in a work to prepare for this match. JBL and Lawler say that tonight is the night the music dies when Miz and Morrison teach Bunny a lesson. Booger says Bunny has been in fights and he loves WWE, but JBL says he loves football, but he can't score a touchdown. Highlights are shown of the two Hall of Famer ceremonies from earlier this week. JBL shows off his new ring after a year-long wait. JBL says it means so much to him as a kid who was a Hulkamaniac. Oh, you're talking about the racist, right? Hulk Hogan. Yeah, very funny. And to go in the same night as Hogan, the racist, by the way, did with the NWO was special. The panel ran down tomorrow's night's card, which is tonight, which will be tonight. WrestleMania 37 Night 2 will be tonight. Also, my WrestleMania 32 Night 2 will be tonight, and the review will be after that. So, I hope everybody enjoys WrestleMania 32 Night 2, because it's going to be a good one. I'm telling you, it's going to deliver. It's going to deliver. Most of the matches on there are going to deliver. It's going to be better than Night 1, I tell you that. But the panel ran down tonight's WrestleMania 37 Night 2 card and talks about which match they're most excited about. The next match they talk about is Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon, which I didn't like, which in my opinion did not deliver at all, period, inside a steel cage. They talk about whether or not Shane has bitten off more than he could chew. Lawler ensues Shane and calls Braun stupid. Then JBL says he'll never bet against a McMahon. Sonya Deville joins the panel to discuss the tag team Turmoil match. Kayla asked her how she feels about the team of Mandy Rose and Dane Brooke. Sonya says she and Rose were obviously better because she was in the team. Deville says she will have her eyes on this match because of the huge ramifications it might have on the women's division. The panel ran down the card one last time, then discussed the opening match, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. They quickly made their predictions for that match, with JBL, Booker T sliding with Lashley, and Lawler saying McIntyre will rise to the occasion. That's it for the kickoff show. WrestleMania Night 1 was starting. It started last night, so WrestleMania Night 1 of WrestleMania 37 gets on the way, and Raymond James Stadium, or should I say Raymond James Stadium, with 25,000, and Vince McMahon standing on the stage with most of the roster. Vince says this past year the WWE superstars performed tirelessly for the fans, but there was something missing. The most important thing of all, the fans, after a terrible year, on behalf of the entire WWE family, Vince welcomes everyone to WrestleMania. Viva Rixa attempts American the Beautiful. As soon as the introduction video package airs, Michael Cole informs us that we're suffering another weather delay, which that was a bunch of bullcrap last night. I didn't like that. And we had to wait a little while. So then earlier that day, there was a weather delay that saw the fans evacuate the stadium, and some of the sets got damaged. Now, they said hopefully this one didn't last too long, but we already knew the first match of the night, and it was a big one. Sarah Schreiber was backstage with Shane McMahon, and she asked how it feels to have fans back. Shane says he had goosebumps. He had goosebumps, and having the fans is the energy boost he needs to take out Braun Strowman. Sarah says Shane has been bullying Braun, and Shane says he hasn't. He says he's been using his brain, unlike Braun, and he has a few surprises in store for the cage match. And interrupt Shane's interview. MVP says the time for talking is done. The moment is to be the crowning of all of the Almighty era. He says the only thing Drew McIntyre understands is violence, and that's the only language Lashley speaks. Drew wants the WWE Championship back, but that isn't happening. McIntyre appears and tells MVP to keep talking. but MVP does his best to keep them apart. Drew says he'll fight Lashley backstage if he has to. Mother Nature be damned. The officials came to take Lashley away. Drew is asked where his head is at, and he says he's trying real hard to keep his emotions in check. A year ago, he had his huge moment, and he is so proud of everything he did. But he's back. He's getting back to WrestleMania and a chance to win his title back. But now the weather is trying to stop it. He doesn't care what happens. He's going to win that title regardless of where or how, and it happens tonight. New Day are interviewed backstage, and Woods says they've been anticipating the return of fans for over a year, but it feels so much better than they could ever have imagined. They're asked why they agreed to fight Styles and the Moose, and Kofi says they love to take on all challengers, and that's why they're the best. Woods says they've been fighting big guys since they both started wrestling, and they can do it. They've beaten every team in the company. Big E randomly appears, and Woods talks about how great he is, and that he will retain tomorrow, which will be tonight again. Big E says, we're going to see why New Day are one of the greatest tag teams on earth, and we're blessed to witness it. Braun Strowman's interview backstage, he says he's anxious to get out there and shut Shane McMahon up. He's fighting for everyone who's ever been bullied or made to feel stupid. Shane has backed him into a corner, and he's going to beat Shane without an inch of his life. That sounds brutal. That sounds real brutal. Kevin Owens takes the microphone for himself, and he takes the microphone for himself backstage and recounts his history with Sami Zayn, the Eluberator, the conspiracy theorist, going all the way back to 2002 and their matches in front of half a dozens in Quebec. They've been down this road 100 times over 20 years, but he can guarantee no two men have ever been held down and told, they'll never make it as much as them. And now they get it, they get to do it once more on the WrestleMania stage. Sami Zayn is not the man he knew back then, and he would stun him, as Owen said. And if Logan Paul wants it, he'll be waiting. The EST of WWE, Belair, Bianca Belair, is interviewed. Belair says she is not scared or nervous. She is prepared and ready for this. She says she involves and craves competition, so she can't wait to get in there with Sasha Banks. Then walks out as the Smackdown Women's Champion. But the best part of all is having the fans back, and it's amazing. Next up for an interview is Seth Rollins. He laughs manically and says he loves the chaos of all this. Kevin Patrick asked him about Cesaro, and Seth gets annoyed. Rollins says they can't talk about anything, but he had to bring up Cesaro in the swing. Week after week, Cesaro has been disrespecting him, and he can only assume he's trying to use his star power to springboard into a stratosphere. Rollins says the rain will eventually leave, the stars will shine, and he will take care of Cesaro and put on one hell of a performance. The weather warming has passed and the fans return to the arena, so out comes the host of WrestleMania, Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan, the racist, Titus Catering. Titus welcomes us to his city. It says, the WWE Universe has the energy we've been craving. Weather be damned. Hulk Hogan says, we're going to make history tonight and tomorrow night, which tomorrow night happens to be tonight, because today is the day WrestleMania 37 Night 2 comes on. I don't know how many times I said that, but we're going to get started right now with the first match of the night. So we got Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, which you see on the screen here. So the match got underway. After ring introductions, they lock up and struggle for control. Lashley takes the back, but Drew grabs the wrist. McIntyre gets shot off, and Lashley floors him with a big shoulder tackle. McIntyre takes another headlock and again gets shot off, but this time he avoids Lashley and hits a belly-to-belly and flips him off. So Lashley shoves Drew McIntyre in the face, and they start trading back and forth until McIntyre forces him into the corner. So then Lashley forearms Drew in the face, but McIntyre clotheslines him over the top rope to the floor. Drew goes out, but Lashley slams him into the barricade, then throws him into it a few times. Back inside the ring, Lashley hits a big shoulder tackle in the corner, followed by a net breaker and some ground and pound. Lashley clubbers the Scottish with forearms, then chokes him on the bottom rope. Bobby looks for another. He looks for another big shoulder tackle, but Drew avoids it, and he hits the post. McIntyre targets the arm and looks for an armbar, but Lashley punches himself free. So then, we got Lashley slapping McIntyre across the face, then backs him into the corner and shoulders him repeatedly. Drew McIntyre is whipped to the opposite corner, but he bounces back with a lariat. McIntyre ducks a clothesline and hits a belly-to-belly. Then another, a neck breaker, and a kip up from McIntyre. He looks for the future shock, but Lashley runs into him. He runs into the buckles, basically, and Lashley eats an elbow, and Drew follows up with a Northern Light suplex. And then, once he followed up with a Northern Light suplex for two, Bobby lands a lariat and a roll-up dominator. A roll-out dominator for a near fall. Drew hits a headbutt, but the champion retaliates with a spine buster for two. Lashley attempts the hurt lock, but Drew fights it and beats Lashley into the corner for a reverse Alabama slam for a near fall. Drew puts Lashley on the top rope and chops him, then climbs up but gets dropped into the tree of woe. So then McIntyre sits up and throws Lashley across the ring, then looks for the Claymore, but Lashley hits another spine buster. Lashley signals for the hurt lock, but McIntyre keeps up. Lashley can't believe it. So they trade hands, but Drew catches him with a belly-to-belly, then 3 future shock DDTs. Now, 3 future shock DDTs, that should tell you that Drew McIntyre is one of the best that this business ever has right now. He's one of the best when it comes to delivering that future shock, man. He really is. And Lashley kicks out. So this is awesome from a real WWE crowd. McIntyre goes to the corner and counts down for the Claymore, but Lashley rolls from the ring with MVP, only for Drew to leap over the ropes to whip them both out. Drew puts Lashley back inside and gets on the top rope for a clothesline, but he gets caught and thrown across the ring. Lashley hits a reverse STO, then looks for the hurt lock, but Drew runs him into the buckles. So then, Drew runs and Lashley attempts a spine buster, but McIntyre counters with a Kimura lock. So then, Lashley thinks about tapping, but gets to the bottom rope. Both men get up and trade right hands in a sludge fest. Lashley runs into a big boot. Drew McIntyre hits a Glasgow kiss. Drew wants a Claymore, but MVP distracts him, and Lashley ducks it. Lashley drills Drew with a forearm in the corner, then applies the hurt lock. McIntyre falls to a knee, but climbs up and knocks off the turnbuckles and rolls backwards, but Lashley holds on. Drew passes out. So Lashley wins this match. My thoughts on it, folks, this was one of the 3 matches that I enjoyed watching. Sasha Banks for the Smackdown Women's Championship were the only 3 matches that I enjoyed watching. They were the only 3 matches that were enjoyable to watch. And they were all singles matches. Ain't that something? Funny how it was all single matches, when on SmackDown, most of the shit I enjoyed on there was the promos from Big E, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns. Funny, right? And Sasha Banks, too. Funny, right? Funny. It's funny, man. It's really funny, dude. It really is. So my thoughts on this, honestly, WWE did an excellent job. Got to give WWE credit. Despite the terrible Monday Night Raw and SmackDown shows we get every week, they did an excellent job improving during the rain delay. The superstars gave great promos, and it felt like everyone was on top of things while they waited for the all clear. Now, when it comes to the match, this was the kind of powerhouse versus powerhouse bout that defines pro wrestling. It was just 2 big dudes beating the life out of each other, like I tweeted out and said on Twitter last night. They started a little slow, but hit bigger and bigger moves as time went on. So both men did things we have never seen from them before to make this special. They also left themselves room to grow in future encounters. They didn't throw everything into this bout to make sure they could top it down the line. This was a great way to open the pay-per-view and set the tone of the rest of the show. Now, I don't think the question is this feud over with? No, I don't think so. I don't think the feud's over with yet. I think it's going to continue all the way to the next pay-per-view, I think. We don't know. We'll find out, though. We'll find out on this week's episode of Raw. Now, we have the Women's Tag Team Championship #1 Contenders match. My God, was this match terrible. This was one of the matches I did not enjoy watching. This match was fucking awful. The fans inside Raymond James Stadium seemed genuinely shocked at the result, but that was a really good match regardless. The match between Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. The NWO are backstage with Titus O'Neil. When Bayley appears, Bayley tells them about her famous talk show and that she can have them on, and it would be too sweet. Nobody will give Bayley the too sweet gesture and walks off on her. So the next match was the Women's Tag Team Turmoil, which the Wyatt Squad, which WWE should have had the Wyatt Squad to win the whole damn thing, but they didn't, seemingly. Goes to show that Vincent Bruce tags Billy Kay, who quickly gets caught with a turtle whirl rushing leg sweep from Lana. Naomi tags back in and she slams Billy into the buckles, then hits a springboard enziguri. Naomi knocks Carmella from the apron as Lana hits a kick. Then they hit a double team X Factor for a near fall. Naomi tosses Carmella from the ring, and Kay rolls up Naomi with help from Carmella for the pinfall. And the first team has been eliminated. So obviously, Lana and Naomi were the first teams eliminated. Good. I don't even want to see them on my television. I didn't even want to see them on my television anyway. They're awful. They're awful as a pair. So we got the Wyatt Squad, Liv and Ruby Riott. These ladies can get it done in the ring. These ladies are the type of women's tag teams that you would want to win a tag team turmoil. These ladies right here should have been, the Riot Squad should have been the ones to win the tag team turmoil. I don't understand why they didn't have to win it. Why they went with Tamina and Natalya. Simple, because of their stupid political agenda and their stupid fucking decisions. And Vince McMahon's stupid creative ideas, man. It's that simple. They always got to go with their stupid ideas and their stupid political agendas. It's fucking ridiculous, man. Embarrassing if you ask me. So we got Carmella, Billie Kay versus the Wyatt Squad. Because, you know, Naomi and Lana got eliminated. Obviously, the Wyatt Squad eliminated Carmella and Billie Kay. Rightfully so, I'm glad. Oh my god, Billie Kay was fucking terrible. Liv starts and knocks Carmella off the apron. After dropping Kay, Ruby comes in and slams Kay, but she tags Liv and gets thrown over the ropes. Carmella takes control of Morgan and hits a Bronco Buster in the corner. Then slams her for a 2 count, but Ruby rushes in to break the pin attempt. Carmella tags in and brawls with Ruby on the floor. Kay rolls up Morgan in the ring and Carmella tries to help again, but this time the referee sees it. Liv hits Kay with a gutbuster. Then Ruby hits Senton for the pinfall. I will give Billie Kay credit. She is entertaining, but she is terrible in the ring. Oh my god. She is absolutely fucking terrible. Her voice is annoying. Please, just get her off television. Please, 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 please get her off television. So they were eliminated, and now we have Mandy Rose. It went from Carmella and Billie Kay to Mandy Rose. Great. Oh, great. Even more garbage we gotta get now. Great. Mandy Rose is one of my favorites, though. Just not Dana Brooke. Please, get Mandy Rose away from Dana Brooke. Please. I know people agree that Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are a good team, but I disagree. I think Mandy Rose would be rather off being better as a singles competitor than teaming up with the likes of Dana Brooke. Come on now. You should all know Mandy Rose better than that. Mandy Rose is the greatest as a singles competitor, but as a tag team competitor with Dana Brooke, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that. I don't think anybody in the community weren't sure about this. So after the pinfall, Carmella super kicks Ruby and Liv before leaving. Rose and Brooke came out. Mandy split on the wet ramp, which I hope Mandy Rose is okay, because that was just, oh man, that was just painful to see. Ruby takes the fight to Mandy and Dana before they even get in the ring. I wouldn't mind seeing Mandy Rose versus Ruby Riott. I wouldn't mind seeing a Rose and Riott feud. I wouldn't mind seeing either heel Mandy Rose feuding with babyface Ruby Riott or heel Ruby Riott feuding with babyface Mandy Rose. I wouldn't mind seeing that feud. That feud would be great. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't even mind seeing Liv Morgan feud with Mandy Rose, considering the fact they look alike. So, kinda. They look like sisters from another country. So, Ruby takes the fight to Mandy and Dana before they even get in the ring. But Mandy kicks Ruby back. Brooke enters the match with a blockbuster from, the top rope. But Liv breaks the pin attempt. Brooke gets frustrated and pushes Riott on the mat. And I think you're probably wondering why she did that. I guess because she wanted to. I guess because that was her plan. Ruby fires back with right hands, but gets caught with a spinning neckbreaker for 2. Rose tags in and stomps Ruby in the corner, but Riot fights free and rolls under a lariat to tag Morgan. Liv comes in hot against Mandy and hits a clothesline, followed by a stomp in the corner. Liv and Ruby hit 2 Riot kicks, but Brooke broke the pinfall. Liv gets slapped in the corner, and Ruby runs in, but gets caught with a flip slam from Rose. So then Morgan goes up top, but Rose hits her with a superplex, and Dana tags in for a swanton for a near fall, and Liv reverses it for the pinfall. Dana Brooke and Rose, they get eliminated. So then we have Natalya and Tamina entering. This is where I started getting pissed. This, at the end of the match, is where I started getting pissed. This is where I got really, really mad, and I about wanted to change the fucking channel. I'm serious. When I saw Tamina and Natalya, I about wanted to fucking. I just took my eyes off the screen immediately. I just took them. I just got my attention right back on the phone. I took my eyes off the screen, and I just put my eyes right back on the phone. Because I didn't want to see them wrestle, because they're fucking terrible at what they do in the ring. Period. So, Natty comes in and immediately looks for the sharpshooter on Liv Morgan. Same thing she always uses. Same move she always uses, but gets rolled up for 2. Natalya lifts and drops Liv on the top rope before tagging Tamina. So, basically, Tamina, they both hit a double team powerbomb, and Ruby breaks the pin attempt. Tamina clears Ruby from the ring and clubbers Liv in the corner with kicks, with knees, kicks, knees, same thing to me. Liv gets put on the top rope and kicks Tamina back. Ruby tags in for a double team wheelbarrow spear, then a super kick. Liv hits the gutbuster again, and Ruby hits the top rope senton for a near fall. Tamina knocks Liv out of the ring and tags Natalya, so they hit a heart attack to Ruby. Natalya considers the sharpshooter, who fucking cares, but instead tags Tamina for a top rope splash, and they score the win. This is what fucking pisses me off. This is what pissed me off, man. You should have had the Wyatt Squad win the women's tag team turmoil. They were the better team out of all the other women's teams in this match. They did most of the work. They did most of everything in the ring out of all these women's tag teams. And you go out your way to have Tamina and Natalya win, which, oh yeah, because Natalya's blonde, right? Right, Vince? You had her win because she's blonde. Man, Vince loves blonde women, doesn't he? Oh my goodness, bro. Shit's fucking garbage. This women's tag team turmoil was complete fucking garbage. I don't want to see this again. Shit was fucking terrible. We got these as Rollins versus Cesaro, one of the 2 of the 3 matches that I enjoyed watching. Man, this was one of the best matches on the fucking card, in my full opinion, man. Seriously, man, they threw it down. Seth Rollins and Cesaro threw it down in the ring, man. They absolutely killed it. Shit, it was better than the women's tag team turmoil, I'll tell you that. Oh, most importantly, it was better than that damn god-awful steel cage match we got. Oh my god, that shit was fucking nothing more than nauseating garbage. Seriously. It really was. That steel cage match. We're going to get to that in a bit, man. I got a lot of bad things to say about Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon and how awful they did in that fucking match, man. That shit was just fucking awful. God awful, man. We got Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. In my opinion, one of the best matches on the card. And you know what? I will say it was the right call by WWE to have Cesaro win his first match at WrestleMania, man. It was Cesaro. This was Cesaro's biggest win of his career over Seth Rollins right here, man. They absolutely fucking killed it. Matter of fact, this match was so good that I'm about to fucking show it on the screen. I'm going to show it on the screen, see how it is on the screen compared to how it was last night. But this match was fucking awesome, man. I enjoyed every bit of this match, man. Seth Rollins did his thing. Cesaro did his thing. You know, despite how arrogant Seth Rollins is on social media, he is good in the ring, and he's probably doing good in real life. So the bell rings and Cesaro sprints across the ring to hit a European uppercut. Cesaro, and I only clicked the start match because this match was on the. I want to show you all the presentation. I want to show you all that this match, proof that I enjoyed this match. This was two of the three matches I enjoyed. I want to show you all proof that this match was one of the best matches, greatest matches on the pay-per-view, man. It was great. It was that fucking fantastic, man. Not the greatest, but it was the best match on the card. So Cesaro looks for the swing, but Rollins kicks him away. Seth escapes to the apron and slingshots over Cesaro, but gets caught with a springboard European uppercut. That was a great springboard European uppercut by Cesaro, man. That was fucking amazing. That was a thing of beauty, man. Absolutely phenomenal. Rollins rolls to the apron again, and this time he snaps Cesaro's arm across the rope, then heads up top. That's one thing about me. If I see something that's good, I'm going to say it. If I see something that's bad, I'm going to fucking express it. I'm going to express my feelings about it. In this case, this match, one hell of a fucking battle. One hell of a clash, man. One hell of a fucking battle, man. One hell of a fucking clash for the ages. Anyways, Cesaro drop kicks Rollins and climbs up to hit a gut-wrench superplex, but Rollins slides down and hits a buckle bomb for a 2 count. Seth slows things down a bit, targets the arm. He kicks Cesaro, but the Swiss Superman fires back with a right hand and whips Seth to the corner. That is a perfect name, Cesaro. Swiss Superman. Do you all not realize, does anybody in IWC not realize how perfect that name is for Cesaro? Swiss Superman? Cesaro shows you. He performs. He gives his great performance in the ring and shows you why he's the Swiss Superman. Why he shouldn't be overlooked by WWE, Vince Bruce, management, and creative. He shows you that. Which he was, utilized and kept off TV, not being used, which was absolutely just sad. And you know who wasn't at WrestleMania this weekend? Keith Lee. I'll show you how fucking real sad it was. Keith Lee would have been added to the fucking WWE Championship match, and it would have been great. It would have been even more great. We would have seen Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley versus McIntyre. What do you guys think of that? Or Braun Lesnar versus McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. But instead, we got Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, which it was good. It was great enough. So, but anyways, back to what I was reading about the match between Cesaro and Rollins. Back to what I was saying here. He kicks Cesaro, but the Swiss Superman fires back with a right hand and whips Seth to the corner. Cesaro goes up top, but Rollins leaps up alongside him and hits a superplex. Show the fans that they have so much chemistry in the ring. Now, Rollins was getting frustrated after a near fall. Cesaro catches Seth with a backslide for a 2 count, then lands a series of European uppercuts. Cesaro whips Seth to the corner and hits a running uppercut, then sits again before catching him with a discus lariat for a near fall. That was a thing of beauty right there, a discus lariat. Cesaro signals for the swing, but Seth rolls him up for 2. Rollins hits a rope-assisted Enziguri. That Enziguri looked great. It was awesome. And looks for the stomp. The stomp's even more great. But Cesaro counters with the swing. Cesaro swings Seth for 9 rotations, but his arm is hurting, so he stops and moves to the sharpshooter. Rollins reaches the ropes to cause the break. Cesaro looks for the neutralizer, but Seth flips him over and hits a sling blade. Rollins goes to the apron and hits a springboard knee, then slams Cesaro for a near fall. So Rollins goes to the top rope and hits a corkscrew frog splash for a near fall. Rollins wants the ripcord knee, but Cesaro avoids it and lands the neutralizer for a near fall. Cesaro looks like he's starting to doubt himself. Cesaro counters Rollins into an incredible neutralizer attempt, but Seth reverses into a pedigree, but Cesaro kicks out. Rollins talks trash to Cesaro, telling him he survived the swing and the neutralizer. Rollins forearms the back of his head, then he hits a rolling kick to the back of the head. Rollins lines up the stomp, but Cesaro catches him with an uppercut. Cesaro rallies and hits Seth with the UFO, a spinning torture rack with no hands, before letting Rollins fly across the ring. Cesaro performs the swing for a record-breaking 23 rotations, then hits the neutralizer for the win. Now, before I give you all my thoughts on Seth Rollins and Cesaro, let's go back to what I said about the Riot Squad, man, because I really want to address something here. To this women's Turmoil match, man. Guys, let me remind you all. Here's a note here. Note that unfortunately in the women's tag team Turmoil match, this bout suffered from the problem a lot of gallant matches face. Now, every match felt a little rushed, and I really didn't care. I hope it was rushed because I didn't want to watch it. So the whole thing was a series of pinfalls that weren't convincing. And yes, as I noted earlier, it did have some highlights, though Liv and Morgan had some fun spots. Meaning they did most of the work in the matches. They did the most. They performed the most out of every women's tag team. I said that earlier in the review, did I not? Against all 3 of the teams they faced. It just wasn't enough to keep this from being kind of a mess. Now, the finish were predictable, especially once it was clear who entered the match last. Obviously, Tamina and Natalya. Do you really think I think that they are a dominant duo? Absolutely not. I'm not fans of neither one of them. And they will not have a good match against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler on Sunday. I absolutely disagree. I absolutely do not think they will have a good match. I absolutely just think that this match is going to suffer. It's going to be one of the matches that's going to suffer on the WrestleMania 37 Night 2 card. And really, the women's tag team titles should have been dropped to Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. But no, I get it. We get it that Vince and Bruce didn't want it. We get it. And then it led to the NXT tag team titles being introduced, which I don't think that was a great idea. Once again, I think that was the worst decision that WWE ever did. So I just wanted to go back to that very moment when we had that women's tag team title match between Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler. I can't believe I went back to that. I can't believe I'm saying this again. Speaking of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, oh my God. I hope Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler loses the titles to Tamina and Natalya. I hope Tamina and Natalya wins despite, even though I'm not fans of them, I hope they win the titles from Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler so we can slowly start to see Shayna Baszler break up from Nia Jax, so we can slowly start to see Shayna Baszler. So we can see WWE drag Shayna Baszler the hell away from Nia Jax, because she needs to get the hell away from Nia Jax, and I mean effective immediately. She needs to get away from Nia Jax. Nia Jax has been making Shayna Baszler look like an embarrassment since they ever got paired up. It's time for Shayna Baszler to get back to being singles competitor. This being tag team competitor shit ain't working for her, man. It's not working. They're only making Vince and Bruce are only making Shayna Baszler look worse. They're making her look worse than fucking Rotex the Ranger. Fucking how worse she is, man. Seriously. Seriously, man. It's fucking ridiculous. Now, my thoughts on Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, man. Honestly, the problem with this match like this is, we build it up in our heads so much before it happens that it's almost impossible to live up to our expectations. Luckily, these two were up to the challenge. Surprisingly, they kept the risk spots to a minimum and focused more on, innovative counters and storytelling. This was great storytelling, man. It really was. Now, their build was better than the Sasha Banks and Belair build. No offense. Just throwing it out there. They did a great job making Cesaro into the underdog, even though he is physically equal or above Rollins. In almost every way, the fans gave him a great reaction when he won. So if WWE is smart, it will follow through on this and put him into the hunt for a title of some kind. And I gotta question Michael Cole for a minute. What the hell is wrong with Michael Cole? Anybody in the chat knows what the hell's wrong with Michael Cole? I'm sure you know why I'm asking that. I'm sure you all can figure out why I'm asking that shit. Figure it out. Come up with it. Come up with an answer in the chat. And I'll tell you whether you're correct or not. Now, like Lashley and McIntyre, Cesaro and Rollins left themselves room to improve in a future encounter. This was great from top to bottom. Now, so as soon as the match ends, Cesaro holds his head in his hands in emotion. He won his first ever WrestleMania singles match and the biggest match of his career. I did say that. That was the text in my thumbnail. It said Cesaro gets the biggest victory of his career. If you read my thumbnail, it clearly says Cesaro picks up the biggest victory of his career over Seth Rollins. So that should be enough to tell you that, hey, I'm a genius. I'm right. I'm right in what I say. I'm not wrong at all. So we see highlights from the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Who really fucking gives a shit? Nobody fucking cares. But I did care about the fact that Jey Uso win because he absolutely deserved that win. Like I said, I predicted last Friday. I predicted that Jey Uso was going to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and damn, I was right. The only reason why they have Jey Uso slated to win it was to make Roman Reigns and his family proud. Roman Reigns gave him some doubt. That was an indication that Roman Reigns was proud. And then that's when Roman Reigns came and started cutting their promo and all that. Roman Reigns was proud of Jey Uso. I don't think he had nothing to say. I just think he was proud of him on the inside. He just didn't want to say he was proud of him. So, highlights from the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal from last night's Smackdown, which Jey Uso won. Also last night, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler retained the Smackdown Tag Team titles in a fatal four-way match. Roode and Ziggler are interviewed backstage, and they asked them for their predictions on New Day and Styles and OMOS. Ziggler says New Day are one of the all-time great tag teams, but sunshine and rainbows can only get you so far. Roode says he's known AJ Styles for a very long time. You know, they've been knowing each other ever since probably Impact Wrestling. And you should never, or probably ever since Japan or Pro Wrestling, I don't know. They know each other for a very long time, though. That is true. You should never bet against the Phenomenal One. So he comes up to the stage to do a live introduction for his boys. The New Day, the Royal Tag Team titles, are being defended. I was going to say the Raw Tag Team Champions. That's what I was going to say. That was not what I was meant to say, though. So, this marks in-ring debut for OMOS. So, the New Day versus AJ Styles and OMOS. OMOS is not exactly dressed to wrestle, but he's starting the match against Kofi Kingston. So, Kofi and Woods goat AJ Styles into, starting the match instead. So, Kofi and AJ trade fast reversals. As I was reading, I had got a notification from Facebook. And, pin attempts for the first couple of minutes. Kofi catches a kick from AJ, but Styles takes a headlock, only to get thrown overhead. Kofi stares at OMOS and taunts him, but the big man is not impressed. He shouldn't be, really. Woods plays the trombone while Kofi twerks. Then AJ runs into a dropkick. I remember Xavier Woods playing it in Kofi Kingston's match against Sami Zayn on Smackdown. I remember myself laughing like a fucking dope ass monkey. It was so funny, man. It's so funny the way he plays that shit. It fucking has me laughing. That's one thing about the New Day. They will make you laugh. They are great as a tag team, but when it comes to getting distracted, they don't never know what to do when they get distracted. But Kofi Kingston splashes AJ and Woods, tags in for a float over elbow drop. New Day keeps AJ isolated from OMOS and Woods. Commentates their strategy. Allude. Woods and Kingston hit the unicorn stomp. Not similar to Seth Rollins. Just want to throw that out there. There's a difference between the unicorn stomp and Seth Rollins' stomp that he uses. Unicorn stomp while continuing to taunt OMOS. Woods takes a side headlock and keeps AJ grounded. Styles slowly fights up and tries to tag OMOS, but Woods prevents it. Kofi tags back in, and they hit a flurry of kicks and a double bulldog for a 2 count, I believe. I think I'm right. AJ wants to make a tag, but Kofi blocks his path, so AJ runs out of the ring and tries to slide back and tags, but Woods comes in and shoves him right back out of the ring. So far, man, the match was going strong. I didn't really enjoy it much, but I'm not gonna shit on it for the simple fact that the New Day and AJ Styles, the New Day and AJ Styles, they're one of the all-time greats. AJ Styles, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston. You got 3 all-time greats in the ring, so I can't shit on those guys. Even though I didn't enjoy the match, even though it was one of the 4 matches I didn't enjoy. The only people I did enjoy in the ring were probably Styles and Kofi Kingston, more than likely. Moose was impressive with his debut. I'm not gonna lie about that. But AJ gets thrown back in the ring, and Kingston hits a crossbody. Woods tags in, and AJ counters a back suplex but misses an enziguri, and Kingston hits a huge springboard splash to the back for a 2 count. New Day look for a double team move, but AJ knocks Kofi from the ring, and Woods is stuck on the top rope, so Styles tags OMOS, and the stadium pops. OMOS comes in to the middle of the ring, and Woods kicks him to no effect. Woods hits a drop kick but bounces off. Woods attempts a crossbody but Moose doesn't move. Kingston tags in and attempts a flying axe handle but Moose catches his hand and throws him. Now, Moose says he's been looking forward to this before, whipping both New Day to opposite corners and splashing them. Moose hits Woods with a backbreaker, then holds him over the knee and bends him. Moose lifts Kofi with one hand for another backbreaker. Moose stands by the ropes and AJ jumps off the shoulders with the phenomenal forearm to Kofi. Moose lifts Kofi and hits a massive spine buster that stands with one boot on him for the pin. Now, I didn't enjoy this match, but I will say that it was all about making a Moose look like one of the most physically dominated superstars on the entire roster. In that regard, it succeeded. Was this spot a fest or a technical showcase? Neither. It didn't really need to be, but Moose came in and almost single-handedly destroyed one of the greatest tag teams of the modern era. Few have looked as unstoppable in their debut match. From a storyline perspective, this was exactly what it needed to be. Even though I didn't like it, I didn't enjoy it, but the New Day's cockiness finally backfired. Kingston Woods have to regroup while Styles and Moose rule the tag team division. So, and then we got the fucking terrible, awful, god-awful steel cage match. You got Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. Oh my god, was this steel cage match complete garbage. I didn't enjoy watching this steel cage match at all. I think I would have rather watched the Raw Tag Team title match than to watch the steel cage match, man. I think the Raw Tag Team title match is a whole lot better than the steel cage match. Even though I didn't enjoy neither one. But, oh my god, this steel cage match probably made people want to just fucking go to bed. That's how awful this match was, man. I didn't understand why this match was booked for WrestleMania. I didn't understand why WWE went with a Shane McMahon Braun Strowman feud. I don't think this made any sense whatsoever. It made zero sense at all. I would have booked a match better than that, man. Come on now. That's just fucking ridiculous. I would have booked maybe an Ali versus Cedric Alexander for WrestleMania. I would have booked an Ali versus Cedric Alexander match for WrestleMania. I would have went with that more than booking Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage match. I would rather see a Cedric Alexander versus Ali because Ali's got to be a babyface now after Retribution broke up. So Cedric Alexander and Cedric are heels. So you go with Ali versus Cedric for WrestleMania. I would have much rather get that than Shane McMahon versus Braun. Oh my god, man, this match was terrible. Terrible to watch. It really was. I hated this match so much that I took my ass off the TV and I just looked on my phone and just looked through tweets to see which tweets I could reply to, man. From, one of my Twitter followers. This match was just... This match was not even needed on the WrestleMania card, man. It just wasn't needed. I mean, why would you want to watch a 30-something-year-old Braun Strowman going up against a 40, 50-something-year-old Shane McMahon? Come on, man. Are you fucking serious? Why would we want to watch old talent going at it at WrestleMania? Really? Braun Strowman's one of the worst professional wrestlers I've ever fucking watched on TV. Seriously. And, oh my god, is Braun Strowman terrible on the mic. Yeah, he is terrible. Definitely terrible on the mic. Definitely terrible cutting promos backstage. And he's definitely terrible in the interviews. Everybody does not like Braun Strowman at all. Nobody. The fans in the crowd may like him, but I can guarantee you, I can assure you, nobody in the IWC community likes Braun Strowman. Neither are they fans of Braun Strowman. This goes back to the news and rumors on Lars Sullivan, you know. This goes back to Lars Sullivan being released from WWE. Nobody cared about it. Nobody cared about him. So, you have to think, if nobody cares about Lars Sullivan, then nobody cares about Braun Strowman. Right? Dude, I don't even think nobody would even care about a Lars Sullivan versus Braun Strowman. Neither would I, man. It would be so awful to see Braun Strowman versus Lars Sullivan. Why would you want to versus Lars Sullivan? Somebody tweeted something out about that match. Somebody said that would be a good match. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you a fucking complete idiot, man? Really? How do you think that match is going to be great? Braun Strowman versus Lars Sullivan. Two monsters that clearly no one wants to see go against one another. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to see a Braun Strowman versus Lars Sullivan either. Well, we're not going to get that match now that Lars Sullivan's released from WWE. Thank God. Velveteen Dream, he's released from WWE too. I don't think nobody cares about him either. Yeah, I don't care about him either after that fucking scandal. But this steel cage match was fucking awful. Shane McMahon came out first and he tried to hold the door to the cage closed. Strowman was attacked from behind by Elias and Jackson Ryker. Who fucking cares? Who really cares, man? Who really gives a shit about these two? I mean, they could have made Jackson Ryker look like a dominant monster, man, now that he's separated from the Forgotten Sons, but now they seemingly have him with Elias now. But they beat the monster with chairs. Then Shane drags Braun into the cage with a chair, and he smashes Braun over and over, targeting the left leg. Shane swings a chair for the head, but Strowman catches it, only for Shane to kick the leg out from under him. Shane asks for the door to open, but Braun grabs him and pulls him back inside. Braun shouts at Shane that he has nowhere to run, but he's walking gingerly. Braun Strowman is so fucking stupid, man. He really is. He is such a dickhead, man. Seriously. So Braun tosses Shane into a cage. Wait. You know, he shoved Shane into a cage wall. Then again, Strowman gives Shane some sort of his own medicine and punches him in the kidney. Then splashes him up against the cage wall. Strowman clubs Shane with a big forearm to the chest. Braun wants the running power slam, and Shane slides off and runs him into the cage a few times. Shane then counters a punch and hits a float over DDT. Yeah. Nobody cares. I don't think nobody cares to even hear this shit at this point, which I don't blame them. I don't think you guys want to hear that fucking shit. I think you guys want to hear about my thoughts on Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, which we're going to get to that later on, because that match was one of the greatest matches on the Wrestlemania card. So, Strowman clubs Shane with a big forearm to the chest. Braun wants the running power slam, but Shane slides off and runs him into the cage a few times. Shane counters a punch and it hits the float over DDT. Braun rolls to the corner and Shane goes to the top rope to hit coast to coast for a near fall. Shane starts climbing the cage, and Ryker and Elias climb the other side to help drag him over and out. Great. Even more boring showing from Elias and Ryker, right? Yeah. Strowman runs and leaps into the cage to knock Elias and Ryker off, and Shane tumbles back inside. Shane McMahon could have easily won this, but didn't happen. Both men are down, and Shane is the first to his feet. Shane climbs up there the ring post and reaches the top of the cage, but Braun is there and trying to pull him back inside. There is a bag hanging from the corner of the cage, and Shane reaches inside to pull a red toolbox out and hits Braun in the head. Braun is laid out in the ring, and Shane takes his sweet time climbing over the cage. Shane stops halfway down and taunts Braun, who jumps up and grabs his head. He grabs his hand through the cage. I was hoping his head. I was hoping his head so we could be like, Braun Strowman sucks. Strowman sucks. Or the fans would chant, Shane deserves it. Shane deserves it. Definitely deserves it. After wanting to get in that match with Braun Strowman, I would have said no, thank you, and fucking walked away. Because Braun Strowman's terrible in the ring. Shane McMahon wanted this match. Braun Strowman wanted this match, so it happened. Strowman climbs up the ropes and literally rips the cage wall apart. He rips the cage wall apart and drags Shane back inside. On top of the ropes, Braun pummels Shane in the corner of the cage with the hands, then throws him on top of the cage and climbs up alongside him. Braun holds Shane up, shouts at him, then tosses him off the cage into the middle of the ring. Insane. Not really insane to me, but that's what Ringside News is saying. It was insane. My sources, my good old friends on Twitter. Braun climbs back down inside, and Shane is done. Braun shouts that this is for everyone who's ever been bullied, then hits the running power slam for the win. And that was it. This match was fucking awful. And here comes another one of the matches that I'm getting ready to review, that I'm getting ready to give you all my thoughts on. Another match that I didn't enjoy, but it has a lot to do with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest in it. Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, they did really good. They did more than Miz. I was going to say the opposite. I was going to say it has a lot to do with Miz and Morrison in it. The reason why I didn't enjoy it, because they were both in the match. So, which is why I didn't enjoy the match, because Miz and Morrison was in it. This feud and this storyline between Bunny, Damian Priest, Miz and Morrison, it was just, this story was just awful. But you can't shit on how great and how entertaining Bad Bunny was in the ring. Bad Bunny was really, really great. He was unbelievable. I was surprised, man. I was really, really surprised. But the match itself was awful, despite how great Damian Priest and Bad Bunny did in the ring. You cannot shit on Bad Bunny and deny how really, really wonderful he did, man. It was surprising. Watching Bad Bunny, Damian Priest did what he did in the ring. It makes you want to be a WWE fan. You know what I mean? Watching Miz and Morrison makes you not want to be a WWE fan. Miz and Morrison, hey, no. That's what I want to say. And I'm telling you right now, Miz is not championship material. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care who's fans of Miz. Miz is not championship material. He is awful at what he does in the ring. He's not championship material. Morrison is better than Miz. Morrison can do better. He has better wrestling skills than Miz, man. His in-ring IQ, his in-ring abilities is better than Miz's. I'll tell you that right now. That's why I say Morrison needs to get that. They need to get Morrison the hell away from Miz, man. They really do. Morrison keeps on losing and losing and losing. This pair up with Miz and Morrison just isn't working, man. It's really not, man. Bayley interrupts the announce team to put herself over and sends us to some highlights of the 2020 Hall of Fame ceremony. JBL, the NWO, the Bella Twins, Titus O'Neil, and the family of the British Bulldog came into the stage while Jushin Thunder Liger, excuse me. I was thinking Justin when I said Justin211, because you know he's one of my moderators on my YouTube channel, so he monitors the live chat. That's why I That's the reason why I mentioned Justin. That was on accident when I mentioned Justin, though. But Jushin Thunder Liger and William Shatner are represented on screen. Jushin Liger would have been there, but I don't think he would have made it. He probably had some events. He probably had another wrestling promotion. He probably had a match that was booked that day. I don't know. That's probably why he didn't show up. Or maybe because of the COVID outbreaks that's been going on. Maybe that's why Thunder Liger didn't get to show up. There's probably going to be news on why Thunder Liger didn't show up for the Hall of Fame ceremony. Probably, more than likely. I'll check and see. If there's not, then I'll be kind of surprised. Now it's time. It said it was time for the second to the last match, and out came a dozen or so rabbits. The rabbits dance in the ring. When I looked at the rabbits coming out, I was like, "What the hell is this?" Even one of my Twitter followers tweeted out. It said, "What the heck is this?" I told him, I said, "I'll tell you what this is. It's fucking garbage." Because it was fucking garbage. That's what it was. And I know why the bunnies came out, because Bad Bunny was getting ready to come out. But turns out it was Miz and Morrison. Miz and Morrison had a lot to do with why all the bunnies came out. It was a setup. It was sort of like a trick. Just like I said, just like what I said on Twitter last month, a few months or so, when I got the news that Braxton wasn't going to show up for Maddie's title match. You know, she wasn't going to show up for the title match. She was the number one contender for Maddie's PWWE Women's Championship, and she didn't show up. So I was thinking maybe it's a setup. Maybe she's doing it the heelish way, and maybe she's trying to make us believe that she won't be there. We know she will. And I was thinking, and then I tweeted out and told PPW Kingston, I said, maybe, or Kingsville, PPW Kingsville, he's one of my Twitter followers. Wrestling promotion, I think. But I replied to the tweet, and I said I retweeted something with a comment saying something about, I think Ravaston has a sneaky plan or something, something like that. I don't remember. Something like that, but but the rabbits danced in the ring as Miz and Morrison came out and sing their song, "Hey Hey Hoo Hoo." To me, more like "Hey Hey No No," because they fucking suck as a team. Hey Hey No No. Priest is out second with a regular entrance, and Bad Bunny arrives on top of a semi-truck with sparks flying everywhere, and the fans are loving it. Booker T is on commentary for this one. Rightfully so. He should be, because, he's the reason why Bad Bunny was paired up with Damian Priest in the first place. He's the reason why Bad Bunny was inspired by Booker T. You seen Bad Bunny did some of the moves that Booker T did in the past. And Booker T was a WWE wrestler. But we got this awful Miz and Morrison versus Bad Bunny and Damian Priest match. The match begins with Priest and the Miz, but Miz asks Bunny if he's scared. Bad Bunny takes the bit and enters the match first. The fans are really loving him, rightfully so, because he's one of the best. He's one of the best Puerto Rican rappers, man, in the world. Miz marks Bunny, offering him the first shot, and Bunny drops him with a right hand. The Miz looks angry and walks around the ring. Miz looks to lock up, but Bunny takes a wrist lock, then ducks an elbow and punches him again. Bunny is getting confident that Miz runs him into the corner and holds him there. This match wasn't really going like I thought it would. It was going awful. The match was awful so far. It just wasn't. Well, it just wasn't my type of match. It just wasn't my kind of match, man. It didn't feel right, man. It was not a good match. Entertaining, but not pro wrestling wise. Bonnie is getting confident, but Miz runs him into the corner and holds him there. Bonnie hits a double leg takedown and unloads, but Miz kicks him off and stomps him. Miz stomps the ribs before slamming Bonnie into the turnbuckles and grinding his face on the rope. Miz whips Bonnie to the ropes but gets caught with an arm drag. Miz runs from the ring and looks furious, so he runs back in but gets caught with a drop toe hold and a roll up for 2. Miz backs in the corner and Morrison gives him a peep talk. See, that's how you know nobody's in the chat. Nobody in the chat wants to hear this shit. This match was fucking awful. That's why nobody's not in the chat hearing this. The match was fucking awful. I don't blame them for not being here in the chat. I don't blame them. This match was fucking terrible. It ain't because of me, it's because of this fucking match. They don't want to hear this match, so there's nobody in the chat as a result of that. Because of that. Not because I did bad, because this freaking some of these matches on the fucking card. You gotta be kidding me, dude. I feel like laughing, but it ain't there. It ain't there in my mind that I want to laugh. It ain't there, man. It's just not there. Not there yet. Miz whips Bonnie to the ropes but gets caught with an arm drag. Miz rolls from the ring and looks furious, so he runs back in but gets caught with a drop toe hold and a roll up for 2. Miz backs in the corner and Morrison gives him a peep talk. Miz kicks the knee and throws Bonnie out the ring. Then trash talks to Priest. Man, imagine how that was, trash talking Priest. I bet Priest was fucking pissed in the inside, and I don't blame him. I don't even know why they put Priest and Bunny in a feud with Miz and Morrison in the first place. Anyway, that was not a good feud to start off Priest's debut on Raw, man. That was just fucking awful. And WWE, note that WWE is high on Bad Bunny and not high on Damian Priest. That right there is enough to tell you that Damian Priest's run on the main roster may be coming to an end soon. And I really hate that I'm saying this, but it's true. And I really don't like this idea of Damian Priest's main roster run coming to an end. Soon as Adam Cole and Io Shirai gets called up to the main roster, just like that, they're going to get buried by Bruce Prichard. Bruce Prichard is going to bury Adam Cole and Io Shirai to Vince once they get called up. Watch. I guarantee it's going to happen. I didn't want to tell Adam Cole that he might not want to think about getting called up to the main roster, but if that's on him, if he wants to get called up, I ain't going to tell him nothing. I ain't going to tell him nothing. I'm pretty sure Britt Baker is probably telling him not to think about going to the main roster. I hope she is telling her husband that. I would not, if I was an NXT wrestler and I'm seeing the garbage on Raw and SmackDown, I would not want to get called up to the main roster. If I was an NXT talent, I would not want to get called up to the main roster. I'd be like, no thank you, I'm staying right on NXT, just like Tommaso Ciampa. The same decision Tommaso Ciampa making is the same decision I'm making, staying on NXT, not going to that main roster. That main roster is complete garbage, man. Fucking main roster. The fucking Raw and SmackDown men's and women's rosters, oh my god, they look fucking terrible. They do. I wouldn't want myself to get called up to the main roster. I wouldn't. Generally, just because how the roster looks and how Bruce is burying NXT talent to Vince. So, Bad Bunny slides under his legs and hits a Turmoil head scissors. Morrison tags in, but Bunny hits him with a headbutt. Bunny runs for a flying elbow in the corner, then looks for a second, but Morrison elbows him. Morrison distracts the referee, and Miz drops Bunny with a right hand. Miz tags back in as Morrison hits a snapmare and a running knee. Then Miz kicks him. Miz applies a headlock and taunts Priest on the apron. It was not nice at all. Priest hits a choke slam to Miz, but Morrison breaks it up. Bunny runs in and hits Morrison. Then he and Priest hit stereotypes. Yes, he and Priest literally hit stereotypes. I'm not joking. When I mean they literally hit stereotypes, it was so fucking bad. They hit serial suplexes so fucking bad, it literally just knocked them down for a near fall. Miz and Morrison rolls outside. I'm not sure what's going on with the stream on my phone, but it's being stupid. Please, it's not me. I don't know what the fuck's going on with it. I don't know if someone's trying to hack into my fucking stream or what, but I hope Justin is monitoring the chat, because somebody might be hacking in my fucking live stream, dude. Somebody might be hacking in my Twitter channel or YouTube channel. Excuse me, I can't even get my shit right. Somebody is hacking into my YouTube channel or something, man, for this stream to be loading like this on my phone. I'm monitoring the chat and reviewing at the same time, making sure I don't see nothing inappropriate said in the chat. You always got to be respectful when you're joining my chat, man, because I don't tolerate disrespect in my chat. I don't do that. So, I don't play around when it comes to disrespect. People disrespect me and shit. I get fucking angry easily. So Ms. Morrison roll outside. Bunny Irish whips Priest to the ropes, and he hits a springboard tope into them both. Bunny then goes to the top rope and leaps onto Miz and Morrison on the floor with a crossbody. Priest drags Miz back inside and wants to hit the reckoning. But Miz counters with skull-crushing finale, but Bunny breaks it up. So the fans chant for Bunny. Priest looks to make a tag, but Morrison pulls Bunny off the apron, only for Bunny to kick him and hit a cannon destroyer. Miz and Priest look shocked in the ring. Miz runs, but Priest kicks him back and lifts him up in an electric chair, and Bunny tags in for a flying crossbody off the top rope at the pin. That cannon destroyer shocked all of us, man. Wow, that was unexpected from Bad Bunny. That was a great fucking cannon destroyer by Bad Bunny, man. Wow, which shows you how fucking talented he is, as not only a rapper, but as a fan. Match was awful, but Bunny and Damian Priest, you gotta give them credit, man. They did really good in the ring. What they did in the ring made you want to watch their match against Miz and Morrison. It was great, man. You know, celebrating matches are never going to be clinics. They're never going to be clinics, man. But they can be highly entertaining on their own terms. That's what you want. Entertainment. Not only do you want a good match, but you want entertainment too out of it. And that's the case. It wasn't pro wrestling wise, but the match was entertaining. Alright? Bad Bunny clearly put in the effort to make sure he didn't embarrass himself or WWE. Some celebrating performers come in and do a few moves, but the singer worked the majority of this match without any help from Priest, other than Stephen Emile. It's hard to think of a celebrity who put in this much work. So since expectations are always low for celebrity matches. Bad Bunny came out of this looking great. He did. And as well as Damian Priest, Miz Morrison came out looking fucking awful. As always, as a team, Miz Morrison looked absolutely awful. He took it seriously and put in maximum effort and looked better than anyone could have hoped. That reminds me of seeing that video of Cross saying, inflicting maximum damage. The way Cross said it, Cross sounds so good saying that in that video in his match against Finn Balor, which Cross won the title, and he is a two-time NXT champion. Cross sounds so great. It reminds me of how great Cross sounds in his video. He said, the way he said maximum damage, he sounded really good saying that in that video with Scarlett. Scarlett watching him, watching Cross do his boxing, MMA boxing moves and all that. He sounds so great when he said maximum damage. The way he sounds so great in that video. That's what it reminds you of, man. Speaking of maximum. So, since expectations were always low for this celebrate matches, Bad Bunny came out of this looking great. He took it seriously, put in maximum effort, and looked better than anyone could have hoped. He had a lot of help from the Miz and Morrison. Hey, no. I would rather see Morrison as a singles competitor than a tag team competitor, who deserves a lot of credit for making him look credible. So, didn't enjoy it, but Bad Bunny, I did enjoy watching Bad Bunny and Damian Priest as a team. Miz Morrison, not so much. I never enjoy seeing Miz Morrison as a team. Never. They are fucking awful as a pair. And WWE needs to go ahead and start separating Morrison immediately from Miz, because, oh my God, is he terrible with Miz as a team. So we got the main event. Two of my favorite SmackDown female wrestlers going at it. This is where the good part starts to come in play right here. This is where I talk about the good part right here, man. This is where we get to the good part. The main event of WrestleMania 37 Night 2. I was going to say SmackDown. SmackDown was last Friday, though. This is where we get to the fucking good part, man. Night 2 of WrestleMania will be once again hosted by Titus Catering and Hulk Hogan, the racist. Matches includes Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, which that is going to deliver, in my opinion, if Logan doesn't get involved. Orton versus The Fiend is not going to deliver, because that match is going to be awful. Tell you right now, that's one of the matches that's not going to deliver on the show. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn is going to deliver. Big E and Paul Cruz in a Nigerian drum fight for the Intercontinental Championship is going to deliver. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka, maybe. Rhea Ripley is good at what she does in the ring, so I can't shit on her. Nor Asuka. So I think Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. I think this match for the Raw Women's Championship, despite there was no build or no direction, despite the fact that there was no fucking explanation, no direction, no storytelling, no explaining, no feud, despite that, the fact that, it was none of that. This match should be good on the card. It should be great, should be solid. It should be your normal, typical WrestleMania match that you want to watch. Matt Riddle versus Sheamus for the United States Championship. I know it's going to be really good. Matt Riddle, Sheamus' feud, man. It had build to it. It had direction to it. Everything. Everything that you would want to feel. Everything that you want a feud to be. I'm trying to talk, man. Matt Riddle versus Sheamus. A Matt Riddle-Sheamus feud had built and direction. It had everything you wanted in this feud. Everything. Storytelling, fucking entertainment, creative, everything. And then we got Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Damian Bryan for the Universal Championship. So there's not really too many matches on this card, but there was a lot more matches on. Clearly there was a lot more matches booked on WrestleMania 37 Night 1 than there was on WrestleMania 37 Night 2. And here's the opposite. Here's another opposite. Night 2 is going to be better than Night 1. Night 2 is absolutely going to deliver. Night 1 did not really deliver much to me, as far as those 4 terrible matches we got. But those 3 matches on the card made WrestleMania deliver. So, Night 2 is going to be better than Night 1. Watch me be right, folks. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I'm always 100% right when it comes to this shit. Hashtag genius of the IWC community, man. That's what I am. So, it says here it was main event time, and out came the 2021 Royal Rumble winner, the EST of WWE. The fastest, the strongest, the powerfulest, Bianca Belair. One of my favorite SmackDown women's wrestlers. And then out came Sasha Banks. Another one of my favorite SmackDown women's wrestlers. It's sad to see both of my favorites going at it. It reminded me of Killian King and Maddie Rakowski in the ring. When I saw them two going at it, I said the same thing. I said, oh man, why do we gotta have 2 of my favorites going at it in the ring? When I see 2 of my favorites going at it in the ring, it's tough to decide who's the better woman, you know. It's really tough. In this case, it was. In this match, in this SmackDown Women's title match. So we got the TLB versus the EST. You know, TLB stands for the legit boss. Sasha Banks, the legit boss. She's a lot of things. She's called a lot of things. The legit boss. Future Hall of Famer. Former Raw Women's Champion. I think she's former either 2-time or 3-time WWE Women's Champion. And I think if she wins another SmackDown Women's title, I think she would be either a 2-time or a 3rd-time SmackDown Women's Champion. However, you got Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, the fastest, strongest, the powerfulest, just as I said 20 minutes ago. This match was everything it needed to be, man. 3 of the 3 matches that I enjoyed watching. You know I'm going to enjoy watching Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. And you know there's going to be a lot of Sasha Banks YouTube users in here, because they know that Sasha Banks is my favorite SmackDown Women's wrestlers. So you know there's going to be some Sasha Banks stains and some Sasha Banks Women's wrestlers in here. Some Sasha Banks fucking IWC community Twitter accounts in the chat. Where my Sasha Banks subscribers at, man? Where my Sasha Banks fan subscribers at? Where's my Sasha Banks stains at? Where's my Sasha Banks Twitter account users at, man? Where are they? Most importantly, where is my Bianca Belair stain accounts at? Where's my Bianca Belair fans at, man? I'm sure we got some in the chat here. Because you know Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair are my favorites, man. They are legitimately the best things going for the SmackDown Women's division right now. And Bayley as well. Just Bayley, Bianca Belair, and Sasha Banks. The only 3 best things going for the SmackDown Women's division. But we all know that there is only one leader of the SmackDown Women's division, and that's Sasha Banks. The blue standard. The blueprint standard of WWE. Now, without further ado, folks, getting ready to deliver to you all what went down with the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Are you ready to find out? To those of you that didn't get to watch WrestleMania 37 Night 1, those of you that didn't get to watch the main event, you ready? Alright, here we go, folks. Here we freaking go. And since this match was the greatest match on the card, I'm actually going to put it up and I'm actually going to start the match. I'm actually going to show it on screen for the first time ever. Because of how great this match was, man. I really want to see it on the game on screen because I know for a fact that this was one of the 3 of my favorite matches on this fucking card. Probably my only favorite match on the card, anyway. Sasha Banks versus Belair, man. Oh my god. Everybody in the IWC community had a lot of good things to say about this match. I saw the tweets from a lot of my Twitter followers giving, Sasha Banks and Belair so much praise. Rightfully so, man. They deserve the spotlight. They deserve to get emotional, man. It's their, for fuck's sakes, man, it's their first time seeing the live crowd. How can you not be emotional? I don't blame them. Drew McIntyre was emotional, was going to be emotional. So Sasha Banks Belair decided they wanted to get emotional because it's the first time it's the first time they've ever saw live fans. It's the first time we've ever seen live fans in the crowd, man. No virtual geeks, just live fans. Finally. You know what I mean? So, Bianca Belair for Sasha Banks for the Smackdown Women's Championship, man. So the main event gets on the way. Both women look like they're about to cry. Just as I said, they were. They were like about to cry. They were emotional. Live fans, man. Can you blame them? Come on. Eventually, they lock up and struggle for control. With Sasha Banks forcing Belair to the corner, roughing her up. They lock up again, and Sasha slams her down, but Belair keeps up. So they lock up again, and Sasha slams her down, but Belair keeps up. They shove each other. Then Belair runs, and Banks looks for a leapfrog, but gets caught and slammed down. Belair looks for a moonsault, but Banks moves, and Bianca lands on her feet and taunts her. Sasha Banks kicks Bianca Belair and looks for a wheelbarrow bulldog, but Bianca stays on her feet and thinks about a glam slam. So then Banks rolls forward, sending her out of the ring. Banks gets on the apron, but Banks runs her into the ring post. So then Banks dives through the ropes with a suicide dive, but Belair catches her, lifts her into a military press, then carries Banks up the steps and throws her back into the ring. Strong EST indeed. Banks is angry, and she hits a drop kick for a 2 count. Belair lifts Sasha. It does some squats before a body slam. Belair attempts a handspring moonsault, but Banks counters by grabbing her hair and pulls it, then kicks her in the face a few times. Banks pummels Bianca on the mat with right hands, then chokes her in the corner with a boot. Banks runs her face first into the buckles, then hits a snapmare and a chinlock. Belair fights up and throws Banks to the apron, but Sasha clocks her with a knee. Banks looks for a double knees but gets caught and slammed hard. Banks rolls outside with a handful of Belair's braid and pulls her against the ring post. So basically, Belair yanks her into the steel steps, if I'm right. Banks stumbles back, but tries to follow up with a Meteora against the barricade. But Belair moves, and she crashes both women, just about, make it back to the ring before the referee's 10 count. So back inside the ring, Banks looks for an inside cradle, but Belair lifts her up into the air for a stalling suplex, during which she bounced Sasha off the ropes a few times, and she did some squats. Both women are down and slowly get to their feet. Now, Banks drops Belair with a right hand, then grabs her by the braid and attempts a springboard arm drag, but Belair forearms her. Belair drops Sasha, then hits a standing shooting star press. Belair shoulders the champion in the corner, then hits a release glam slam. Belair goes to the top rope and leaps for a 450 splash, but Banks got her knees up. Both women attempt pinfalls, then Sasha gets caught, powerbombed once, twice for a 2 count. Belair attempted a third powerbomb, but Banks countered with a facebuster. Banks stomps Belair in the corner and hits a springboard tornado DT for a near fall. Banks goes to the top rope and hits a 5-star frog splash for another near fall pinfall. Man, I hope Sasha Banks is okay after that. That slash on her arm, man, that slash on her ribs, that had to hurt, man. Did you see that big old rash on Sasha Banks' ribs? Oh my goodness. That looked like that hurt. That absolutely looks like that hurt, man. That definitely looked like that hurt. I hope Sasha Banks is okay, man. Sasha Banks elevated Bianca Belair in this match to make her look like a real star, man. Sasha Banks did really good. You might as well say Belair is the next Sasha Banks. You might as well say that. But Belair became the new SmackDown Women's Champion, and that was the end of WrestleMania 37 Night 1. Now, my thoughts on Belair versus Banks. You're gonna love my thoughts on this one. It's just as I am. So, honestly, my thoughts on this, man, I give this a A+ if I was to grade this match, man. The emotion at the start of this match helped make it feel like the true main event of WrestleMania. And the fans helped, reinforce that feeling with their reaction. That is what I tweeted out on Twitter. Now, as the match unfolded, both women used every trick in their playbooks. It's hard to think of anything else they could have done to make this any better. Sure, there were a few small mistakes here and there, but, the match as a whole was fantastic. They sold for each other, took risks, and made every move count when Belair was declared the winner. So the crowd went nuts. Even her parents went nuts in the crowd, too. So, the first night of WrestleMania was enjoyable. It was enjoyable because the 3 matches on the show stole the show. That's the only reason why WrestleMania 37 Night 1 was enjoyable, because Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, and Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre were enjoyable. That's the only reason why WrestleMania 37 Night 1 was enjoyable in my opinion, because those 3 matches that stole the show. Those 3 matches that made WrestleMania look decent. The stage, the arena, the crowd made WrestleMania look decent too. Just those 4 matches that I didn't watch, that I didn't enjoy, I don't think, in my opinion, those 4 matches made WrestleMania look decent. I think they made WrestleMania look like complete garbage. Those 4 matches that I didn't enjoy watching. So, the first night ended, and this sets the stage for night 2. So, to be even better. Night 2 is going to be more better than night 1. Night 2 is going to win over night 1. Just about every outcome was the right booking decision, Every match, not every match. Some matches. The 3 matches, in my opinion, was the right booking decision. Those 4 matches that I watched that I didn't enjoy watching did not have the right booking decisions, in my opinion. Only 4 matches had something to enjoy, though. One of the matches had Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny and what Damian Priest and Bad Bunny did made you want to watch. Made you want to watch their performance against Miz and Morrison. Well, that match was just as awful as the women's tag team Turmoil. Steel cage match was even worse. But again, Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, Lashley versus Drew McIntyre, and Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair were the best matches, were the only 3 best matches on this WrestleMania 37 Night 1 card. And were the only matches that delivered. And were the only matches that made WrestleMania 37 Night 1 look decent. Folks, I'm getting out of here. This is the end of your WrestleMania 37 Night 1 review. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. And I already see some thumbs up on my WrestleMania 37 Night 1 review. Thank you to the people who hit the thumbs up. That lets me know right there that I did really good. So, I appreciate the love and support you all have been giving me for my channel. Please continue to show your love and support for my channel, man, as I work my way up to 400. And once I get to 400, I'll be working my way up to 500 now. Let's keep on going, man. Keep it on going. Let's keep on showing your love and support, at least until I get to 1,000. But if you want to show me your love and support for me and my channel when I get to 1,000, if I get to 1,000 and you all are still showing love and support with me, that's fine. Do it. I don't mind. It's working. Your love and support that you've been shown, your support that you've been shown for me and my channel is working, man. Your love and support you've been shown for me and my channel, my live streams, my videos, it is 100% positively working. So keep on doing it. Keep on encouraging people to subscribe to the channel, especially if they enjoy wrestling content and gaming content, especially if they enjoy watching Monday Night Raw, Smackdown, NXT, NXT UK, and AEW Dynamite reviews. Folks, my mouth is tired. I think I'm tired out. I'm gonna chill and relax and wait till WrestleMania 37 Night 2 comes on tonight. I think I'm gonna stream some Call of Duty before that happens. But right now I'm gonna kind of sit down and chill once I end this review. Kind of scroll through some tweets on Twitter. I'm gonna go to Instagram, because I got a notification from one of my favorite female wrestlers. I got a like on her post. Got a like from her on her post. So, I'm going to check out the notifications on Instagram and check out the notifications on Facebook, because I got 99 notifications. New notifications. Brand new. And then I'm going to check out Twitter and check out my notifications on Twitter to see whether I got likes or whether more people has followed me on Twitter or not. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed WrestleMania 37 Night 1 last night. Most importantly, I hope you all enjoyed hearing my WrestleMania 37 Night 1 review. And I hope you got to enjoy your time with me in the live chat in my WrestleMania 37 Night 1 watch along. Well, that's it for me. I'm getting out of here, man. I have no WrestleMania news as of right now, so I am going to get out of here. I may have some WrestleMania news for WrestleMania 37 Night 2 review. I'm not sure. Maybe. But I am getting the hell out of here, man. I've done enough today. Last week was a busy week for me. Imagine how busy it's going to be for me this week. So, my WrestleMania 37 Night 2 watch along will be tonight, and then after that, my WrestleMania 37 Night 2 review will be that night. Hopefully, the connection doesn't get lost and I don't get a fucking error again like I did last night on the WrestleMania 37 Night 1 review when I did it. And I was just starting. That's the sad thing about it. But here I am. Here it is, coming to an end. Thank God. This was a long one. I ain't gonna lie. But I did good. It was worth it, man. It was. It was worth it. Bet you Bianca Belair is probably happy to see this picture. She's actually the SmackDown Women's Champion on my game here. So, anyways, folks, have yourselves a great rest of y'all's weekend, and I will see you live with my Wrestlemania 37 watch along, and I'll see you on the review. Peace. I'm out of here.